Hi, this is Avdut. I'm your subconscious mind trainer. I teach how may we use the power of our subconscious mind to achieve various benefits. Our today's topic is memory power. We will learn how a student may study in a very effective manner so that the student may recall their stored information in their mind and brain effectively and effortlessly most of the time. So, please understand that we think in three different manners. One is called visual, one is called auditory, one is called kinesthetic. When we speak about visual memory, what we mean is thinking in terms of pictures or videos. Auditory memory means thinking in terms of sounds. Either audible sounds, that is sounds which we directly hear with our physical ear, or mental sound. For example, if a text is written, for example, Jack is a good boy, that is a text which is written somewhere. When you mentally think about that text, you are actually mentally listening to this sound, Jack is a good boy. So even this is auditory information. So mental text, alphabets, words, these are also auditory. Finally, kinesthetic, that is a kitchen sink. Anything and everything other than visual memory and auditory memory is called kinesthetic memory. This includes beliefs, concepts, feelings, understanding, our own sensing, and anything and everything else. So, let us store memory in these forms, in visual forms, in auditory forms, in kinesthetic forms. You can imagine that you have a school. This is the school of your own mind. Let us say you want to right now study geography, and in geography specifically about soils, different types of soils. For example, alluvial soil, laterite soil, etc., etc. Okay, so imagine a beautiful, nice school. This school is actually your own mind. So in your mind, a fantasy, fancy school. In that, there is a classroom outside which it is written geography. So this is in your own mind's school, there is a classroom of geography. Mentally enter this classroom. In this classroom, you will find all sort of props, all sorts of information, books, charts, notes, everything about geography in your own mind. Imagine there are various chart papers on the wall. One of the chart paper is soils. In that there is titles, just like an index of a book. For example, alluvial soil, laterite soil, and this and that and that and that. So this alluvial soil, this title, this takes your attention to your own brain's amygdala and hippocampus. We store our memories in our brain in amygdala and hippocampus principally. They function in a particular way. You do not have to actually know how amygdala functions, how hippocampus functions. What exactly is the function of amygdala? What exactly is the function of hippocampus? Not important for you. You can just ignore it. If your brain knows what is its function, that is good enough for you. You do not have to specifically know it by conscious awareness that what is the function of hippocampus and amygdala. For now, you can create a fantasy, a story, an imagination, which has got nothing to do with reality. And that will send certain signals of your own intention to your brain, and brain will do the job. So let us reallocate in our fantasy, not in reality, the functions of amygdala and hippocampus. Assume one of them, any one of them, is the primary memory storage region, and the other one is the backup storage region. Remember, it is not actually like this, but you are simply sending your intent through this fantasy, through this excuse to your own subconscious mind, and to your brain. You will get the intended results. How it will be actually manifested, this intended results, you don't have to know. Your internal systems will take care of that. So now, suppose amygdala is your primary memory storage area. Imagine a airport hangar where an aeroplane parks itself, or maintenance, repairs, etc. are done on an aeroplane. How huge such a hangar would be, and humans are so small compared to this huge hangar. Imagine 20,000 such hangars kept stacked next to each other and atop each other. The inner walls vanish. The entire region becomes one large hangar. Suppose this is the area for geography in your amygdala. Like that, there are areas for civics, for social sciences, for other topics, economics, English, other languages. So different storage areas are there physically within your brain. Imagine like that. In this, put pictures of your teacher or teachers, maybe your tuition teacher, maybe your school teacher, maybe the author of the book, maybe an expert in this field. Imagine you have put their pictures in this large hall, large hangar like hall, massive, humongous hangar like hall. Here, create storage racks or storage bins or storage areas. One of them is soils. Under the region of soils, there are different racks, bins, or something like that, storage areas. Mentally put a real alluvial soil in that place. Mentally sense what is the texture of this soil. Mentally write it down, there only, next to it. Mentally sense what is the odor of this soil. Mentally write it down next to it. Mentally sense, upon adding water, what is the consistency of this soil? How does it become? Mentally write some notes about it. So write all the features and attributes of this soil that you have studied, and additionally add these sensory imagined information also. Or if you know the actual sensory information, write them down. And mentally do keep the sample of a soil in this place and write down the name, alluvial soil, and then the same for laterite soil, and then the others and others and others. All this geography related information is stored in this large hangar, humongous hangar. In this, there is area called soil, and then all these bins are there where you have written this down. You have this information. Mentally, now give understanding of where is this stored in your chart paper. For example, in the chart paper where you have written alluvial soil, write down amygdala, 3rd row, 5th column, and left corner or the middle lower right side where this information of alluvial soil is stored. So mentally you are giving a allocation. Where is this information? Like a index, like a file allocation table, like some kind of pointer which takes you to the detailed information. That's all. So mentally you have created all this thing. Thus you are storing in an organized manner, you are storing with indexing, so that later recall becomes easy. When you need to recall this information, all that you require is mentally think about the topic and the information will come to you. You can also do to aid in this, you can also do your Kuber Mudra. What is Kuber Mudra? Of any one hand, left or right, take the first 2 fingers and the thumb, put them together like this. Put the tips of the first 3 fingers gently like this. Keep the remaining 2 fingers folded inwards. Don't make them stand up. Do not fold them and point them outwards. They have to be inwards, gently folded. Basically, you are not using the muscles of the little finger or the ring finger. They are just loose and relaxed. And you are gently touching the tips of your first 3 fingers. This is called Kuber Mudra. So when you study, do Kuber Mudra and now study. When you need to recall your memory or retrieve your memory, do Kuber Mudra and do the same. To further assist you, to further help you, you may imagine that you are surrounded with lemon yellow colored marigold flowers. As if lemon yellow colored marigold flowers are strewn all about. Maybe their petals are showering from the sky. Or this light, lemon yellow light, all around you and inside you. So visualize these things with Kuber Mudra. Remember, study only 20 minutes at a stretch. Do not go beyond that. Research shows that human attention span at an average is of 20 minutes. So with Kuber Mudra, 20 minutes you study the way you study. But after 20 minutes, do take a break. Take a bio break, drink a little water, just walk a bit here and there, do a little stretching exercise, or go up to the window, look out, study what is going on, come back and re-continue to study. But again for another 20 minutes. So in batches of 20 minutes you will study. Always covered in lemon yellow color light or lemon yellow color symbols like the marigold flower. What else can you do? When you are studying a particular topic, mentally pay attention to the sound of the study. Memorize the sound. The good example could be maybe a poetry whose one of the lines you have forgotten. So what do? Mentally re-chant or re-say the entire poetry up to this point of time, or just few lines from earlier you begin. Here you remember the sound. That's why one sound leads to the other sound. So when you are memorizing something, when you are trying to understand something, mentally pronounce it out or verbally pronounce it out. Store that sound in your mind. The sound will help you recall all the information. You can associate some smell with your studies. For example, you light up a particular incense stick so that that smell is associated with that study. Later, by recalling that smell, you will remember what all you had studied that day. Mentally create mental pictures about what you are studying. That means the topic that you are studying, mentally see them in detail, probably in 3-dimensional detail. If you cannot mentally create a picture, then create feelings or understanding. The stuff that you are studying, what does it actually mean? What is it that you are learning from that thing? What do you understand from that? How is it going to affect you or the world around you? So mentally create feelings, sounds, smell, pictures, and do all of them together in your mind. Of course, create an index for all this. Some titles which mentally you are storing in a chart paper inside your mental geography room, inside your mental school. And in the chart paper, you have further references about where one can get more details within your brain. For example, in your amygdala or hippocampus. Imagine whatever you are storing in your primary storage area, either amygdala or hippocampus, because actually not the truth, just a fantasy, then the same information is also there as a backup in the other area. So if in your fantasy amygdala is your primary memory storage region, then the same to same, exactly same copy, backup copy is stored in your hippocampus region. Just think like that, and the reference is given in that chart paper, which is inside a imaginary geography room, because there are other rooms also. Like this, you have indexed, organized your information, and whatever you are memorizing, you have to feel that you will remember it. How do we do this? Sit straight, do your Kuber Mudra, close your eyes. Mentally think about the topic that you have just studied, that you want to remember. Mentally feel that all this knowledge, this feeling, this experience is getting incorporated within your very personality, within your body, your mind, within every organ. And thus, whenever you require it, it will all come back. Relax. Open your eyes, in case you have closed your eyes. So, if you want to learn these things, the power of your subconscious mind, how else you may use the power of your mind? Are there any more tips of memorizing? Yes, there's several tips. Again, by using the power of subconscious mind. So, get in touch with me. Call me at 9836 338 102 between morning 11 a.m. to evening 5 p.m. On Mondays, we are off, and sometimes also on public holidays. So call us or drop a message at WhatsApp, same number 9836 338 102. So you may store memory very nicely, that is perfectly okay. But what about presenting it after the memory recall? That is also very important, because if you are not organizing your presentation, then the memory that you have may not mean much or may not be of that much benefit. Best is to present it the way the person to whom you are presenting would read within their own mind or will understand or store within their own mind. So the point of view of the person to whom you are presenting is very important. Let us say you are presenting great amount of knowledge from your memory to a third standard child, in comparison to when you are presenting the same knowledge to a great scholarly person. Let us take for example, it is the same knowledge that you are going to present to a small child or to a grown-up person, a scholarly person and an innocent child. Even though the knowledge is same, you have to present it in such a way so that they may understand and they may digest this whole thing, so that they may reciprocate back with you in an appropriate manner. So how do we do that? Imagine there is a bucket filled with water, there is some straw floating on top. You have to collect the straw along with the water and bring it and place it in another bucket or another container. Similarly, whoever you are going to present your materials to, imagine your hand has gone inside their head and collected their brain's energy, and now you are depositing it in your own head. That way, now onwards, whatever you think, you are in fact thinking the way that person normally would think. And now the knowledge you already have, you present it in a most appropriate manner. Make it colorful, make it beautiful, keep lot of empty spaces. Let us say you are presenting this as a speech or as a writing. Mentally, keep lot of spacing between your speech so that you give time to the person who is listening to absorb. If you are writing on paper, spacing between paragraphs, make it easy to read, otherwise it becomes too heavy. And plus, the spacing between paragraphs allows the information to be stored as chunks. So when a person is reading, they may read one chunk or one paragraph and mentally process it, and then the next paragraph or the next chunk and mentally process it. Whereas if all of them are together, it becomes difficult to process it mentally, because it looks like a huge amount of text. Similarly, while speaking, keep gaps between your speech. Allow time for the listener to absorb. Anyway, you are thinking as per their thought patterns, their thinking methodology, and thus it will be easy for them to understand. Also, help them by creating these chunks so that they receive it in a better manner. Okay, so this is about memory and recall. If you want to know more about it, we have several training programs about different topics, especially to do with education. We have several programs. How to improve our memory power, concentration power, comprehension, motivation, understanding, your presentation, speed reading, your visual memory, picture memory, all this thing. Call us at 9836 338 102. Call between 11 to 5 p.m. any day other than Mondays. This is India time. Okay. So suppose you would like to undergo the training that I conduct, only 2 days training. You can undergo this training over webinar. That means if you have a live broadband connection, you could be on the other end of the webinar, I am on this end, and then live we can speak with each other, we can see each other, we can understand each other's body language, our content, our speech, and we can discuss, and you can learn the whole program. You may find our earlier programs on YouTube. Go to YouTube, youtube.com/avdut AVADHUTDAS. There, go to the playlist in English. There you will find our earlier programs. You can also watch me live every day at India time, morning 7 a.m., evening 5 p.m. by downloading an app called 24HRS TV from Play Store. There you can watch me every day. So I will take leave now. Until next time, bye.